All right, guys, we have the absolutely breaking, absolutely critical preseason top 25 AP poll. This is breaking right now. I'm going to live and just react to it really quickly. So we've got Bama at number 1. We all expected it. Ohio State is 2. They received 6 first-place votes. Alabama receiving 54 first-place votes. Georgia receiving 3 first-place votes. They come in at number 3. Clemson is 4. This is exactly, if you've been following, exactly what I said was going to happen. And Notre Dame is number 5, which had kind of been some speculation. Notre Dame was going to get ranked high. That week 1 game, Ohio State, Notre Dame, is officially a top 5 matchup, and it's crazy considering the overall line in that game has ballooned to the Buckeyes minus 15.5 in a top 5 matchup. That game on ABC, it is going to be a life changer. Number 6, Texas A&M. It's too high for me. Texas A&M, very talented, but way too young to be ranked number 6, in my opinion. Utah, guys, when you look at this poll, the amount of respect the AP voters are showing to some of the more unknown schools, or maybe the group of 5 schools, is kind of surprising, and you'll see what I mean. But Utah coming in at number 7, I knew they were going to be respected, and they are here. Michigan at number 8, maybe a little bit of a surprise with Michigan coming in below Utah, although they're very close in terms of overall points. Oklahoma at number 9, that's expected, and then Baylor, a top 10 team, they come in at number 10. I think they're a little bit overranked. Moving, number 11, Oregon. So that week 1 neutral site game between Oregon and Atlanta, Oregon and Georgia, that's located in Atlanta, Georgia, will be a 3v11 matchup. That's Bo Nix starting against Georgia at the Atlanta Falcons Stadium there. So that'll be interesting. Oklahoma State, way overranked. I think they finished the season unranked. They lose Jim Knowles. They don't recruit well enough, in my opinion. And the Big 12 is going to eat itself. It's got a lot of parity this year. That is just my opinion. NC State coming in at number 13. I think that's very fair for NC State. They are a team returning quarterback, getting a lot of hype. They beat Clemson last year. This year, they have to travel to Clemson, so that'll be a tough road game. USC coming in at 14, so they were unranked. Of course, we know with USC, one of the most unique situations in college football with the overall roster turnover with the transfer portal, getting 17, 18 new players through the portal with Lincoln Riley coming over, bringing on Caleb Williams, bringing on Jordan Addison, who they very likely, used NIL booster money to get him. I've got no problem with USC at number 14. I understand some people are going to say they got to prove it on the field, but their overall talent is undeniable with what Lincoln Riley does with that offense. That doesn't, I have no issue with that. Michigan State, a little surprised they're that high. I thought they would be around 20th, but I've got no major problem with it. Miami coming in at number 16. I would say a little bit higher, but they seem to be respected. Pittsburgh, I think, is a team that's overrated. They're number 17 here. Without Jordan Addison, I see them losing 4 or 5 games. Also, Kenny Pickett is gone. That's a lot to replace, and I feel so bad for Pittsburgh. What happened with Jordan Addison? If there was no transfer portal, Jordan Addison would be absolutely still at Pittsburgh. It's unfortunate. Wisconsin at number 18. I love that. I've got a lot of respect for Wisconsin. They're a great program. They've got a superstar, true sophomore running back who just put up crazy numbers last year as like a 16-year-old. Arkansas at number 19 with KJ Jefferson returning. No issues there. Kentucky at number 20. No problems. They've got a lot of hype going for them. Ole Miss coming in at 21, so we've got a run on SEC teams. Wake Forest at 22. The Sam Hartman news is very concerning for Wake Forest. I do not think they finish ranked inside of the top 25 at the end of the year. We'll see with Sam Hartman. Apparently, he's out indefinitely. There's speculation on the issues surrounding him. I really don't want to get into it, but right now, all we know, he's got a medical condition, and he's out indefinitely, and their head coach has said he's expected to be back, but they don't know when. And then we've got Cincinnati at number 23. They lose so much. We know they made the playoff last year, but replacing 8 or 9 starters, who got drafted in the NFL for a team like Cincinnati, it seems more of a rebuild than a reload, although they can take advantage of a very weak American Conference. And that next team, Houston, who's ranked number 24, I think they're going to be the New Year's 6 representative out of the group of 5. They're a team that I really like. And then how about this? BYU at number 25. So BYU gets the nod in the preseason top 25 over teams like Tennessee, over teams like Texas, who's a surprise, team with Quinn Ewers, Bijan, Xavier Worthy. They definitely have the talent to be a top 25 team. I'm sure Alabama fans are not happy that Texas is not a top 25 team, considering Alabama faces Texas week 2, and they're going to want a top 25 win. It'll be interesting to see if Texas does get ranked after week 1. They've got a very easy opponent. I believe they might actually face UTSA, or maybe that's week 3. But it'll be interesting to see if Texas ends up getting ranked ahead of that week 2 matchup at home versus Bama. We've got Iowa. So Iowa has an amazing defense, horrible offense, standard for them. I think they go 7-5, maybe 8-4 this year. They do have to travel to Columbus in a horrible crossover game, and they also have Michigan in an East-West crossover game. So that's a tough schedule for them. Penn State, I think, is way underranked. I would have Penn State inside my top 20. LSU has the talent. They got 55 total votes. Fresno State with 32 votes. Minnesota, who's getting a lot of hype to be a dark horse Big Ten, West representative. That a lot of people picking them to win the Big Ten West. It'll be interesting. UCF, with the quarterback situation without Dylan Gabriel, it's going to be tough. I don't know why Purdue is receiving votes. Mississippi State, no chance. Auburn got 15. They're a dumpster fire. Florida, so a little surprised Florida didn't receive more votes. They only got 14 total votes. I understand there's a lot of question marks with Anthony Richardson, but they definitely have the talent to be a top 25 team, in my opinion. They've got a major week 1 matchup with the number 7 team in the nation, because that's where Utah is ranked, in Gainesville. 7 o'clock ESPN week 1. That's a Heisman-type moment for Anthony Richardson if he's able to seize it. Wow, that would be amazing. We've got Kansas State, they've gotten a little bit of hype. It doesn't surprise me that they got some votes. North Carolina doesn't have the talent outside of Josh Downs. Boise State, I don't see it. Air Force is a team I've heard a lot of good things about. Appalachian State, they're always a consistent team. South Carolina getting a few first-place votes based off the Spencer Rattler hype. We'll see what happens there. They've also got a pair of defenders, I think edge rushers, who were 2 5-stars. So we'll see if they can live up to their hype. UCLA, I love. I would put UCLA inside my top 25 personally. You've got a veteran quarterback that's mobile. You've got a superstar running back, Zach Charbonnet, who's basically a Jonathan Taylor clone, in my opinion. So I think UCLA is very underrated here. San Diego State, I don't see it. Utah State, I don't see it. And then Nebraska, who got, I guess, a random vote probably as the 25th overall team from someone. Of course, with Nebraska, we know the story. They went 3-9, but they had all those, very close losses. So I personally wouldn't have them inside my top 25. My major takeaways from this poll, looking at the top 10, Texas A&M is really high. That's a really aggressive rating for a team that's really young without a legitimate returning quarterback. Utah at number 7 over Michigan, I think will surprise people. Maybe Baylor at number 10 as well. Looking at 11 through 20, Oregon being number 11, man. I can kind of see it, but I did not expect NC State to be below Oregon. Oregon does have a talented defense. They've recruited really well. They've got a few former 5-star linebackers. They've got a really talented cornerback. And then the offense we'll see with Bo Nix on that side. Other rankings, USC, I think that's where pretty much everyone expected them. I don't think there's really any other surprises here. Wisconsin, Arkansas, Kentucky. And then I think just the major other surprise would be overall BYU being ranked and teams like Tennessee and Texas not being ranked. Of course, Texas received a first. So Texas, from a random coach, received a number 1 overall vote. A lot of people assume it was a troll. And then on the AP preseason poll, they're not even inside the top 25. So there are definitely some mixed opinions there. But just looking at the overall, there are quite a few SEC teams, I feel like, that are ranked. And, you know, the Big Ten, I think the Big Ten is well represented with Michigan State at number 15, Wisconsin at number 18. It would have been great to get either Iowa or Penn State, especially Penn State, inside the top 25. You also have Ohio State, obviously, at number 2, Michigan at number 8. So, guys, that's just my instant rapid reaction to the AP preseason poll. These will be the rankings going into week 1. So the Ohio State Notre Dame game is a 2v5 game. The Oregon Georgia game is an 11v3 game. And then, guys, this is the overall quick breakdown. So the SEC does lead it with 6 teams inside the top 25. The ACC over the Big Ten, mainly due to teams in the back half of the rankings. They have 5 teams. The Big Ten has 4 teams, with Iowa and Penn State being left out. The Big 12 and the Pac-12 each with 3 teams. And then how about the American and Independents combining for 4 total teams? I guess the most surprising thing would be the ACC having more teams than the Big Ten. But I also think that's a situation where Pitt is overranked, Wake Forest is overranked, things like that. And then Penn State, I think, is better than both of those teams. So I think it will self-correct it. We also do have other major things. Pittsburgh is in the preseason rankings for the first time since 2010. So congratulations to them. We've got Kentucky making its first preseason poll since 1978. And Wake Forest last made the preseason top 25 in 2008. We've also got Ohio State being ranked in the preseason poll for the 34th straight season, breaking a tie with Nebraska and Penn State for the longest streak in poll history. I do wonder, are they not counting the pandemic season? Because there was a thing that happened where Ohio State had this streak of being ranked every week in the polls, and technically, because of the pandemic and the Big Ten wasn't playing football, it disqualified the streak. So I wonder if they've since changed it. Obviously, Ohio State was a top 3 team that season in the preseason rankings, but because the Big Ten didn't play, they didn't rank Big Ten teams, so Ohio State was technically left out of the poll. I know it's a really nerdy thing. I'm just wondering, did they change that if it says Ohio State is ranked for the 30? Maybe Ohio State was initially ranked in the preseason poll before the Big Ten canceled their games, and then they canceled them, and Ohio State lost their streak per week. And we've also got Texas A&M has the second best preseason ranking for a team that finished the previous season unranked. So A&M was unranked last year. They backed out of their bowl game, blamed the virus, and it says Ohio State was number 3 in 1972 preseason poll after being unranked at the end of the previous season. And then Ohio State went on to finish 9-2, finishing 9th that season. So that's just some interesting fun facts when it comes to the top 25, guys. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.